The Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions Initiative, BDS for short, began as an organic call from the grassroots community in Palestine in 2005. It was primarily endorsed by the Palestinian Academic and Cultural Boycott Initiative, and has since spread to incorporate various committees and organizations in the global anti-occupation movement. In a minute, we will explore the historical significance of divestment efforts in academic institutions, and we will also examine the state of a contemporary divestment movement at Hampshire College. But first, a quick background on BDS. On July 9, 2005, a year after the historic advisory opinion of the International Court of Justice declared Israel's wall built on occupied Palestinian territory to be illegal, a large majority of Palestinian civil society called upon international civil society organizations, peace activists, and resistance movements all over the world to impose broad boycotts and implement divestment initiatives against Israel. This strategy draws on policies and initiatives that were applied to South Africa in the apartheid era. The purpose is to continue BDS until Israel meets its obligation to recognize the Palestinian people's inalienable right to self-determination and fully complies with international law. BDS has been endorsed by over 170 Palestinian parties, organizations, trade unions, and movements representing the Palestinian people in the 1948 and 1967 territories and in the diaspora. On July 13, 2005, the UN International Civil Society Conference also adopted the Palestinian call for BDS. This description was adapted from the BDS Movement website, www.bdsmovement.net. In 2007, the Students for Justice in Palestine, SJP for short, at Hampshire College began their own project in accordance with the efforts of Palestinian civil society and the international peace community, urging the college administration to endorse a divestment statement drafted by SJP. We felt that an institution like Hampshire, with a rich history of resistance to unjust wars and oppression in various fronts, as well as a radical curriculum, should take an official stand against this ongoing oppression of the Palestinian people. In fact, Hampshire was the first college in the United States to divest from apartheid South Africa in 1979. This, in turn, bolstered other divestment campaigns around the country aimed at ending the South African regime. The divestment campaign, spearheaded by Hampshire, was one of the most serious blows to the apartheid system. 30 years later, in 2009, the Hampshire community knows that we can make history once again. The effort to divest from apartheid South Africa was no walk in the park, with activists facing all sorts of obstacles and difficulties. Similarly, divesting from the legal Israeli occupation of Palestinian territories has not been easy. However, Hampshire College has this rich legacy for us to build off of, and we know that we will be successful in our endeavors. Although the funds that we have invested in the Israeli occupation are small, it still goes to fund the oppression and alienation of the Palestinian people. It is symbolic of much of this nation's blind support for Israel's military and humanitarian actions against Palestinians.
I rock hard like Palestinian children holding slingshots. I'm with every single kid that's down for hip-hop, for the culture.
If more and more of the country's academic institutions pull their funding out of the companies that directly profit from the legal and unjust occupation, this will cripple the sustainability of the occupation. We did it once in 1979 with South Africa. We can do it again with Israel and Palestine. Our investments in companies that directly profit from the legal occupation already violate Hampshire's responsible investment policies that were spawned from our South Africa divestment campaign. While Hampshire is small, our history is big, and we intend to repeat it. Most importantly, the Palestinian people have called for divestment efforts. So let's mark this 30-year history by once again ending the funding and profiting of war and oppression. Until we do this, all of us in academic institutions in the United States are culpable for the occupation and the killings of the Palestinian people. Divestment dealt a serious blow to apartheid in South Africa, and now it will do the same for the occupation and devastation of the Palestinian lands and people.